What's going on, party people? Yesterday, I was so miserable editing that I bought myself a bunch of crispy M&Ms. This is my cry for help. So guys, gonna be renaming myself to DarkViper SP for Dark Viper Spain, or Dark Viper MX for Dark Viper Mexico, because Twitch is doing an integration with Rockstar Games, but for only Spanish-speaking people. Link your Twitch and Rockstar Games account and watch Spanish-speaking GTA RP creators during the Marbella 3 events, September 1st to 29, to unlock up to $1 million and the Rockstar racing suit in GTA Online. Like, I don't want to deny you guys $1 million. Obviously, it's in the game. But go to participating live channel, including Crew Life Game, Oren Play, Juan Garzino, Garnizos, Perzita, Des T3, and more. My favorite content creator, guys. More. Love that dude. Watch for 2 hours and claim the reward of 200k, 4 hours for 300k, 6 hours 500k, and 8 hours to claim the Rockstar racing suit. To this I said, I can't say this. No hay Pumas en Grand Theft Auto roleplay. Le levo 3000 horas Juango. Because it's not said the same way it is English. Whatever this is, basically, it just says, there aren't cougars in GTA roleplay. I'm playing this game for 13,000 hours. I have never seen a cougar in roleplay before. Dark Viper Mexico said calmly. I thought that was funny. The reason I heard about this, though, is from GTA Man. I saw his post here. As much as I love the fact that Rockstar was doing this, I can't help but think of folks like myself, Bruffy Viper, and many others that have been streaming the base game for years. We're just effectively being told, lol, don't care. Make a category wide instead of select few streamers and give everyone and their communities the opportunity. I understand the main reason behind this is like with NoPixel 4.0, where it's more a promotional event than anything, but hopefully in the future, everyone else will be considered too. As I say, same as what he says, where like I like the idea of Rockstar doing stuff with Twitch. It does suck that I'm being left out, but on some level, I wonder if this is more like Twitch having more of an interest in attracting Spanish users and getting people to watch Spanish content creators. So if you go look at Twitch here, comparing all the live streaming platforms, you'll notice that on Twitch, 51% of the streams are in English, 11% are in Russian, and 8% are in German. On Kick, which I'm sure these numbers are largely fake, the amount of U-botting on Kick is insane. It's also bad on Twitch, but it's way worse on. Spanish is 25%, English is 24%, and Arabic is 21%. Spanish doesn't even appear in the top 3 for Twitch, but it's the number 1 for Kick. It's also number 2 here on YouTube as well. So like, again, it could be Rockstar being like, yo man, we really want people to watch more Spanish streamers. But it could also be just Twitch being like, look, we're doing a deal with Rockstar. Let's try and funnel that into the Spanish streamers so that we get more of a Spanish user base, right? Because I don't know why specifically Rockstar would be interested in cultivating Spanish viewers on a live streaming platform, right? They could. Don't get me wrong, they could. But it's also possible there was just a limited budget and they're like, look, let's just focus on what we want. I'm just putting out possibilities because I'm not sure what else would explain this. Because they've done promotions with Twitch and roleplay before. We talked about the one December 2023. Remember when that happened? I'm just using AI for this because I can't bother looking up. Events. Twitch and Rockstar's GTA RP week. Date, December 15th to December 21st, 2023. Rockstar teamed up with Twitch for what was billed as their biggest sub gifting collaboration ever. Over 600,000 subs were distributed globally to fans of GTA RP. These tokens could be redeemed for a 1-month tier 1 sub or gifted to any Twitch channel. And obviously I wasn't involved in either. I'll be real with you, as much as I like to be included in stuff, I more prefer Rockstar to just be successful and for GTA to be successful. I don't think Rockstar is shooting themselves in the foot with this decision. They clearly have some reason why they're doing it this way. And I do think GTA man's criticism here is valid. But at the same time, like it doesn't matter enough for me to worry all that much, you know? Man, it must get harder and harder to detect these viewbots as AI gets better and better. Like, look at this shit. Amazon just funded a streamer that lets you use AI to make your own TV shows. Read its pitch to Hollywood studios. Like, I saw this put in a bunch of different places. Is this real? On one hand, I could see people doing this as like a gimmick or something, ignoring the ethical concerns or whatever, or how dumb and stupid this is, or like how the content could be shit. But from like a cost analysis, right? How is this going to be profitable? Currently, what are people paying for Netflix? Like 15 to 20 bucks? The processing power necessary to use the machine learning of AI to produce like an entire 20 to 30 minute TV show consistent all throughout would just be insane. How much are they going to charge for this? What is the current highest ChatGPT tier? Yeah, Pro is $200 a month. So assume, I'm not even sure ChatGPT is making money at this point. Because all this machine generating stuff costs a ridiculous amount of money to produce. And it's just investor funds can prop all this up for who knows how long. And again, that's with people like generating images, or like you have people making shorts like a couple of seconds. And already they have inconsistencies between each part of the short. And those are like a minute long. Entire TV shows, whilst also losing that kind of social aspect of the TV show, right? Because a lot of what's cool about TV shows is that you can discuss them on social media and you can look up like interesting stuff about them, or you can see actors you're familiar with and stuff. If everyone's generating their own content, you lose all that additional stuff outside of the show. They also have meaning, that as well. If you're the one generating this stuff, you're kind of trapped within your own experience and your own understanding of the world, which would fundamentally be boring. It's like eating your own shit forever. What's interesting about shows, any media made by other people, is that it can present a message that you couldn't even conceive of, or experiences that you have never seen before. And that's what's interesting, you know? Like, I can understand how this would be interesting in like a limited capacity, right? Like, let's say a show, like an anime, gets canceled after 12 episodes. And you're like, AI, look at the manga and generate me a summary of everything that's going to that happens after this point, or something. I mean, it's scummy to the people who made the manga, obviously, but I mean, it's kind of what people already do on YouTube, where they'll like look up a summary of the manga rather than reading it themselves, which I also think is kind of scummy. But I can see in use cases like that, why people would use this. I just can't see how people would be satisfied with this sort of media instead of real media, right? And how that kind of use case could be profitable for a company. It all seems stupid. I don't know. I was listening to the WAN show with Linus and Luke yesterday, and that idea came up. Would it have been better if AI, as we currently know it, hadn't came to be? And I think at this point, yes. Yes. Undoubtedly, AI has been used to make cool things and help people and in medicine and all that jazz. It's the stuff you don't hear that much about. But the other impacts of it, especially related to things that I'm particularly concerned about, in regards to an inability to be able to determine fact from fiction, which was already very hard and already causing rifts in society. And this exacerbating that problem that is ultimately potentially something that can destabilize a whole entire society, I don't think is worth it. I don't think what good AI has done is worth it. Have you guys seen this TikTok of these bunnies on a trampoline? I have not seen this article before, but AI bunnies on trampoline causing crisis of confidence on TikTok. It's got 22 million likes. So it's basically this, right? And as I'm going to spoil it for you, it's AI. No one owns the rights to this, so I'm going to show it to you in full. So it's 8 seconds. I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, flick, flick, flick. Oh, that's cute. Some bunnies on trampoline. Oh, it's got a lot of views. One of my mods loves bunnies. You know, I'm going to share it in the mod chat. And then, like, I scroll like twice more, and it's someone being like, I can't believe I got done in by AI, and those bunnies weren't real. And I'm like, oh no. And so I scroll back, and like, you can tell immediately that it's fake. Look at this. Look at this bunny here. It's got its ears coming out of its ass, and it kind of just merges into it. And like, one of these bunnies changes color at some point, and see, like, the bunny combines together, but it was only 8 seconds, and you're just not thinking about it, right? This was like the first time that I had been just done in by AI. Like, previously, I'd be like, oh, this looks kind of weird. I think in part because it was only 8 seconds, there just wasn't enough time for the usual AI issues to appear. But those who know more about animals are like, yeah, that's not how bunnies would be looking jumping on a trampoline. But because I was ignorant of how bunnies jump and how they would interact with a trampoline, I couldn't identify it. On things on topics and showing you things with AI that you know something about, it's easier to identify that they're fake. But I don't know anything about animals, right? And so a lot of videos were made on TikTok about this because people got done in by it. As I say here, causing a crisis of confidence on TikTok. It's like, holy shit, if I can't tell that this is fake, what else are they going to show me in the future that's going to trick me? Like, it's scary. Yeah, give it 5 years exactly. This is also concerning to me. And what sucks is I do use AI in my work. I just think in the limited capacity that I use it, I would rather that simply not exist. I use the text generation stuff to generate basically word salad slop for me to be inspired by to make titles for my videos, or to generate tags and description because they are effectively meaningless. Any time spent doing that on my part is just a waste of time. Because what impact it probably has on the algorithm is about 0 at this stage. But you never know. And you have people in other industries who potentially as fearful of AI as I am, who they as well feel compelled to use it because either they're required to as a part of their job, or they're worried, about falling behind anyone else who is using AI to get ahead. You use AI to assist you, not necessarily to make the content. That's how I believe AI should be used. Yes, that is my ideal scenario as well. Well, it already is replacing jobs, but my ideal scenario, a year ago was like, this is just going to be something that people use in the same way you use a hammer or a screwdriver, where people are still employed in the same way they were previously, but it just makes them more efficient at their job. But that is not what's happened. I remember when people were talking about, I saw how some law firms are like, AI is doing the work of like first to third year associates. And they do it a lot faster and more efficiently. You can have a few little errors in it, but you can just look through and catch those. But it's like, how do you get people into that industry if all the lower level positions that you get experience with are being taken in by AI, right? How do you train new associates for the higher ranking positions if they can't do any of the more less important minor work? I got so much concerns about this technology, man. Pulling up the ladder behind you, something, yeah. I made a question. Do you consider drama channels that cover drama grifters? I mean, channels that actually tell a whole story and give context to things? So the best example of it is the Right's opinion. That is not to say I'm justifying everything he's ever said or he's never got anything wrong or da-da-da, but this is probably what you're talking about, right? This kind of channel, which produces video essays on a host of popular people, some of which could be considered drama people. It's kind of like in the same way that, you're making an expose about a criminal doesn't make you a criminal. In the same way that making one of these well-researched, well-thought-out, well-produced video essays about a drama creator doesn't make you a drama creator. I think the biggest distinguishing thing, though, is that they don't just cover drama or drama creators. Like, if there was a channel that all they talked about in their video essays was drama creators, I don't think that would be very good. Because it's more that they're trying to, farm drama as opposed to actually make well-thought-out, interesting videos. But sometimes drama creators, or even calling them creators is a bit of a stretch, they can be interesting people in how they achieve what they achieved and what they do and blah, 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 I wouldn't go so far as to call it news, but sometimes the news is about scumbags, right? G. Aubrey, yeah, I think he does good stuff too. I hear they're both pretty good. I was shown an interesting short that has a bit of my footage in it, and it's directed at me, apparently. It's from this creator, Captain Rolfie, and it says, search DarkViper, no, we are not the same person.
According to all of these comments here, I apparently sound like the YouTuber DarkViperAU. I mean, personally, I don't hear it, but check out these two clips here and let me know if you can hear the similarities or not. Where do I go? Okay, the waypoint is over, like, here. Solving the puzzle by my own methods. Can you really even be mad?
I didn't even know a tiger, a puma, a lion, I don't know, a cougar, I don't know, whatever's that.
I mean, we are both Australian, and all Australians do sound the same, so I guess that's why. According to all of...
Honestly, he kind of does. Like, it's like my voice is a little bit deeper, and it might even just be a difference in our microphones. That is the closest Aussie accent that I've heard, that at least I can remember, that is like my own. I'm stealthily shouting out my other channel. Yeah, there's me. I remember hearing somewhere, someone described the different types of Australian accent, and there were 3. One of them being the cultivated Australian accent, which sounds more British. And that's the one that I think I have. That's what I used to say when people ask me why my accent is the way that it is. With that being said, though, I've met tons of Australians, and they ask me, where are you from? Because I just don't sound that Australian. When you go back in my really old content, which is in part what this guy did, because he took a clip from, what would that have been, like 2019, 2018, something like that. I did sound more Australian. Let me actually see if I can get some of my old content here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it has been a while since I've made a new video, and the reason for that, of course, is I have accepted...
Cringe. Stop it. But I do sound different there, right? I did sound more British and a little bit different back in the day, and the way that I enunciate my words more forcefully, confidently.
You're pushing 40 now.
I'm not pushing 40, I'm 34. I'm not even halfway there if you're counting from 30. I know much about this dude's content, but he sounds like me, so the reason why you watch me is because of my voice. Go check out this guy. Did you guys see this viral post from someone named Thriller the Gorilla, where he says, why is this happening? And it's McDonald's from like the 90s, where it's all vibrant and colorful, and it's got a huge sign on the front, and like a play area here. It's huge. And now it's like a brown and black building with an M on the side kind of thing. And Pizza Hut, red and vibrant with red windows, and now it's just like, black and gray box. But the point they're making, this is generally like the new design of a lot of fast food places. So Taco Bell used to have a bunch of rainbow stuff and have like a cool arch and stuff, and now it's just like a generic building that's been painted a little bit purple of the color of Taco Bell. And I saw this and I'm like, well, there's very obvious reasons why this is taking place. But I probably don't need to say anything because I'll just look down into the comments where people will be obviously saying these things. And the comments were like, the communist architecture is always the same. Boxy, bleak, colorless, meant to oppress the soul. And there's a lot of these comments like that. A mental sterilization of the population. No real art, no real design, no real beauty, and no individuality. This is done by design. Communism. It is one of the funniest things ever where people are like, taking pictures of stuff that's happening under capitalism and going, this is life under communism. But the reason for this, I can tell you from experience why this is happening. So my house, as you might notice, all the walls are black. I've got a bunch of acoustic panels. If you've ever seen my house in my tour of my house, I've got acoustic panels fucking everywhere. And I've got like weird blinds that most people wouldn't want. And the problem with doing all of this is it's really a gamified house. A person who's a content creator or who likes movies, right? The overwhelming vast majority of people would not like these things. And so if I want to sell my house, these things are detrimental to my ability to do that. The amount of the market that I could sell this house to that would actually like these things is extraordinarily tiny. If my goal was to have this house be sellable, I would remove all these things and I would paint my walls back white because that's what the vast majority want. So if my interest was in reselling or utilize or having the most possible amount of people utilize this home, I would not have done all these things. And that was the problem with these designs. If you wanted to sell these buildings or lease the land, or McDonald's goes out of business and someone else owns the land or whatever, it's very hard to resell this. Or if you want to resell it, you have to like repaint the roof, remove this, remove the logos, change the design. Like this is a weird top of a building that most people wouldn't want. These buildings though can be used by fucking everyone. The difference between these two times is that the business model of a lot of this real estate and fast food companies has changed. They're more cognizant of the resale value of the land and the building when back then they weren't. Back here, they just sold fast food. Here, they own a lot of real estate and a lot of buildings that they want to have its max possible value on the market. And to have the max possible value on the market, it must be very easily retrofitted for anyone's use, for any potential business. So like, if this pizza closed down, McDonald's could open up here very easily. Change the logo, change the paint, put a different logo here, and that's a McDonald's, right? If they want a McDonald's here, they gotta change absolutely everything, right? Or here even more so. It's why when you go into McDonald's these days, they have chairs that are more like generic, that could be at really any restaurant. Sure, there's always going to be some aspects of the interior that are based around the particular business, but that's what this change is about. It's not communism, it's how capitalism works. Like, if you ever see a change in society that business is doing, and your answer for why this is occurring isn't simply the people who own the business think it will make them more money, you are dumb. You are flat out dumb. Stop with your cultural war bullshit, get outside, touch grass, and learn about the world. You thought those were jokes? No. Surprisingly, they are not jokes. And I'll be real with you, I'm not sure why people prefer these original designs over these ones. I think, with the exception of this one, they look cleaner and cooler. It's also possible, I think in part, that back then, the target audience for a lot of fast food was kids. And that's what this is all bright and shiny and colorful with the families and kids going here. Especially in Australia, it's meant to be like more respectable. It's more like we're an actual restaurant with good food that you should eat. Where over here it's like you're gonna have a fun time at your fucking local fast food place. So the stuff I was saying before about the land and changing buildings and stuff is true, but I also am pretty confident that the targeted audience and how they're marketing themselves these days, the fast food companies, is a bit different from the 90s. Fast food should not really be targeted at children. It would be interesting to know how much of this shift was because of, regulations or pushbacks against the idea of kids having fast food and stuff, as opposed to them, doing calculations on the back end and finding out that their main consumers are actually people who are older, Favorite sandwich? That's a really tough question. So like the sandwich that I associate with my childhood is a Devon sandwich on white bread. So just 2 pieces of Devon on white bread with tomato sauce in between them, like sort of ketchup for the Americans. If I was making a sandwich for myself, I would have salami, any variety, maybe 2 different types, and then like 2 pieces of cheese between white bread or wholemeal. Every once in a while though, I want Vegemite sandwich. So like you got a layer of butter and then Vegemite on top, like a good helping amount of Vegemite. The longer I've been without Vegemite, the more I want on the sandwich. And like there could be a whole layer of it, just like, you know. When it comes to Subway, I get an Italian BMT on Italian herbs and cheese with lettuce, carrot, and pickles. And then for the sauce, I change it a lot, but the standard sauce is mayonnaise and honey mustard. And you toast it. Hi! Getting to the end of a Viper Rambles episode proves that you like me and my work far more than the average person. Given that, it's possible that you might find value in becoming a YouTube member. Members get early access to all my videos, including Rambles, as well as access to my growing library of re-uploaded deleted videos, 5% off my merch, and the ability to leave comments and feedback before public release, which is incredibly helpful for me and my team. You also get a cute badge next to your name, so I can easily identify you in my comment section and live stream chats, and you can also use all my cute emotes everywhere on the channel. Lastly, after 3 months of being a member, you can submit on my Discord to join my GTA Online crew. Thanks for the consideration, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you enjoy future ones as well.